Good afternoon, Derby fans. Welcome to the Fresh and Furious 2018 live stream. My name is Token Redshirt. Joining me is Professor X. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. It's Professor Rex. Sorry,
Professor X, my apologies. We met like 10 minutes ago. I'm still learning names.
As am I. Just a few interesting facts for everyone at home. This is the 7th Fresh and Furious tournament. It is also the 7th Fresh and Furious tournament that I've personally attended. Many as a coach, many as an announcer.
That's exciting. Just going to do a quick intro from Hammer City. Pier pressure. Straight out of Hamilton, Ontario. We got number 12, What? We've got 18, None of Biz. Number 21, Number 307, Archangel. Number 33.
And we're just listening to our lovely house announcers giving you the roster rundown. This game going in is Hammer City Peer Pressure, who were the winners of Game 1 this morning at 11 o'clock. They're from Hammer City Roller Derby in Hamilton, and they will be playing in blue, Our Ladies of Pain from Royal City Roller Girls in Guelph.
There's one more question. I just need to make it's Royal City Roller Derby now and not Royal City Roller Girls.
Much obliged. If you want to know rosters and schedule, you can click on the eye icon on the top right-hand side of your screen. This schedule is going to be updated as we go through the day. Our lovely behind-the-scenes staff from Hogtown Roller Derby will be working on that. And thank you to our wonderful volunteers.
Agreed. Volunteers make this and all of these organizations run more smoothly. So if you can help out, even just a little bit, try and find a league that needs some help and ask what you can do for them. If you're following the schedule at home, unfortunately there was an injury in the first game of the first jam in the other arena, so things have been shifted around a little bit. So if you want to find out when a particular team is playing, you may have to send a message to a friend to get an updated schedule. Hopefully, Hogtown Roller Derby will update the schedule on the Facebook page. If I get confirmation on that, I will let you know.
Don't forget, you can follow the action with us live on the live stream. You can also rewind if you need a refreshment break or you missed the start. And don't forget, you can always tweet us, #FNF2018.
The first jam of the game, Hamilton, Royal City.
So Hammer City in the black, Royal City in blue. And just as we watched both teams very defensively coming into turn 1, Molotov Cocktail jamming for Royal City with Slaley jamming for Hammer City.
That's correct. These two teams had a bout against each other a few weeks ago, about roughly 6 weeks ago, to a very close game. It was incredibly fun to watch. Mazel Tov Cocktail with lead jam in position now to score some points. Let's see if she's able to and call it off on time.
And Hammer City calling that, Royal City calling that early. With only the pickup of 1. Tactically great move, being as Royal City were struggling to break through a defensive line.
Yeah, that's correct. It's sometimes a little more difficult to score points on the scoring pass, especially if your team isn't helping to come back and break up the defensive wall with some offense. So if you're following at home, look for some players to be executing offensive abilities. I know that these teams practice that as much as they can.
And number 75, Herculesa, sent to the penalty box for a multiplayer block, which has allowed Royal City's jammer to come through. But watch the Hammer City jammer right behind. And with the pile-up going into turn 2, the jam is called off early with a score of 3 for Hammer City. So Hammer City now taking the early lead.
Yeah, there was a bit of a late call-off by C. Shebiscuit of Royal City, unfortunately allowing Hammer to score 3 points despite not gaining lead position. Jamming is a position where you need to just do one of two things, and unfortunately there she wasn't able to call it off on time. to score the points for her team.
So Royal City taking a more aggressive jam in this third jam, squeaking by Archangel on the outside of turn one's pickup lead jam.
So far in this game, it's been 3 lead jams for Our Ladies of Pain, but Hammer City has come out of the pack shortly behind them every time. I have a feeling this game might go back and forth all game long. And I am correct. So far, Simon's put up 3 points, so now it's a 4-3 score in favor of Our Ladies of Pain from Royal City Roller Derby.
Now, it looks like both teams are sticking with a highly defensive strategy right from the off, just feeling out the other team, trying to work out what's going to work and what's not.
That's correct. A lot of teams do start with an defensive-minded position just to figure out the jammers before they start sending offense to help out. I imagine if things aren't working well, they might start adding offense in sooner, but it looks like both teams are dedicated to defense, and it shows in the pack.
And that is Beatrix Slayer shrugging off a last-minute block there by Carpe.
The Muzzle Top Cocktail coming out behind in scoring position as well.
So it's about how many points and can we score? And the jam called off as I was speaking. So with a pickup of 2 there for Hammer City and a pickup of nothing for Our Ladies of Pain, Hammer City take back the lead.
That's correct. If you have a drink at home and you play roller derby drinking games, unfortunately, you've had to drink a lot because there's been a lot of lead changes in this game so far. 3 lead changes thus far. I am incredibly excited to see how this game goes. Hammer City and Royal City are very close in proximity geographically and clearly very close in skill level as well.
And Carpe Blockham making life really, really difficult for Slaley right there, and allowed Our Ladies of Pain's jammer, yes, I do this one.
That's right, and Carpe Deckham, just a monster in the pack for Royal City Roller Derby's Our Ladies of Pain. Bit of a late call-up for Royal City's jammer. Unfortunately gave up 1 point, but still did score, therefore.
Do another shot. We're not endorsing drinking right now, but you know, if you're playing the drinking game, that's another one.
At least it's after 12 o'clock.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? And our in-house announcers getting some love from the crowd. Always nice. So, Our Ladies of Pain taking, again, a more aggressive approach. However, we have Rotten Cookie Dough breaking out as lead jammer. But again, Our Ladies of Pain responding by bringing their jammer through very, very quickly.
Nice, solid defensive back wall from Royal City. Both jammers hit the pack hard. Looks like a multiplayer block called on one of the blockers for Hammer City. And a power jam for Olivia's Wild. She gets through the pack, scores her first set of points. Unfortunately, she is not lead, so this jam will go the full 2 minutes.
So now if you're new to Derby, and if you're watching this, why wouldn't you be? You'll watch you'll watch Our Ladies of Pain now take a completely different stance. You'll watch them aid their jammer by staying out the way, then throwing a nice tidy offense as they pass through.
So they're setting up a classic 3-in-1 offense on their power jam. Right now, setting up a strong defensive wall to try to hold that jammer on their first pass. I think that's a direction of play penalty called on one of the blockers.
Yeah, that's Watt from Hammer City. So with a 5-4 pack advantage now for Royal City. Royal City now up 15 points on this jam. Hammer City just scoring the 4. And Royal City doing a great job managing to keep Slaley behind them.
That's right. Olivia's Wild is one of the stronger skaters for Royal City Roller Derby. She's jammed quite a bit this year and is clearly going to be one of the jammers to watch in this tournament.
And a nice fake from the outside to the inside for Olivia's Wild, allowing for another pickup.
Oh no, a jammer lost a toe stop.
And that's the jam, with Our Ladies of Pain putting up 28 points.
That's correct. Hammer also able to put up 8 points of their own to try and lessen the damage, but that was a huge power jam in favor of Our Ladies of Pain. It looks like Parking Lot, a very accomplished referee, wants to talk to the officials and see what happened in the last jam. And Flying Frenchie, the coach of Our Ladies of Pain, is out with them to try and listen in. I didn't see if this was an official review. Did you see if
Yeah, an official review has been called.
It's official review.
So this is Hammer City using their official review. Again, if you want to know rosters or you want to see an updated schedule, just click the I in the top right-hand side of the player box. If you're waiting to grab any of the YouTube streams, do wait an hour after our streams come down for YouTube, just to max out those quality. And in a couple of days, you'll be able to find full HD up on YouTube. Just look for layer9.ca and you'll find all the stuff. So thanks for Layer9 for putting on this wonderful stuff.
We can go quickly through some of these rosters here. Hammer City Roller Derby has number 12 Watt, number 18 Nunya Biz, number 21 the Rolling John Stoner, 307 Archangel, 33 Bay of Undies, 419 Abbey Roadkill, 55 Trash Panda, 74 DC, 75 Herculesa, 78 Ring of Fire, 796 Beatrix Slaughter, 8 is Slaylee, number 9 is Rotten Cookie Dough, number 95 is Ginger Slap, number 996 is Lala, and number 13 is Sweet and Low.
And for Our Ladies of Pain, skating out of Guelph, the skaters are 1031 Violent Baudelaire. We've got 125 Olivia's Wild, who you saw on that last jam, 1938 She Biscuit, 1982 Little Arson Annie, 2019 Kirby, 224 Catastrophe, 33 Glitter and Gore, 369 Carpe Decem, 42 Muzzletop Cocktail, 53 Helices, 7668 Snot Rocket, and 77 Slayla.
I'm not sure why, but there's a lot of derby players that like to put names in that are difficult to say.
Maybe they just hate announcers.
I think they just hate announcers. They want announcers to mess up names so they can tell them that they're saying their name wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not why. They're derby players are just incredibly clever.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that means that you're twisting your tongue a little bit.
We're still under official review, and we're awaiting a decision. Hopefully, we'll find out some information and be able to tell you as and when that happens. In the meantime, we have a whole raft of sponsors that are supporting Hogtown Roller Derby and this event. So the Pie Commission, Complete Energy Solutions, Magnum Fire Protection, the Injury Group, Mayflower Landscaping, and rollergirl.ca.
If you're a little confused by the home league hosting this tournament because you've been around the Derby a little longer than some of us, if you haven't noticed, the GTA Roller Girls have changed their name to Hogtown Roller Derby. The name was changed to Hogtown in recognition of the historical nickname of the city they call home. This change came this year, I believe. I'm not exactly sure of the date that it came into play, but GTA Roller Girls is still around. It is Hogtown Roller Derby now.
And it looks like we're about to get a decision.
This is a long official review. I often official review things. Most often, if it takes longer, the chances of you winning increase. In this case, it may not necessarily be true. There are some new referees in the crew, so they might just be talking about things a little longer than a sanctioned or regulation WFCA game might take to come up with a decision, just to make sure everyone has a say if they saw the play that happened.
And it looks like Hammer City have lost the official review, so whatever they were querying hasn't gone their way.
Looks like Seabiscuit for Our Ladies of Pain.
And it's Wyatt for Hammer City. And
No, sorry, Mazel Tov Cocktail.
And we have Mazel Tov Cocktail out by a fraction of a second over Watt at this point. So now it's about who can score and who can call off.
Yeah, I believe Royal City may be just running this jam a little long to kill some of the penalties to their players. Unfortunately, it also looks like oh no, they didn't. I thought they only fielded 3 players, but there is 1 in transit from the box and 1 in transit to the box.
And unfortunately, I think Hammer have lost a player as well. So
yeah, this game is all about point differential, but sometimes if you have a few too many penalties, a team might run the jam long just to get a fresh jam of 4-4 blockers on the track. Royal City seems to be trying to take advantage of this, and it has worked in their favor as Mazel Tov Cocktail is around for their second scoring pass, picking up 8 points and almost freeing the entire penalty box in the process.
And Carpe Decem making life difficult there for Nunya Biz.
That was a really large hit on the outside to Mazel Tov Cocktail. I think she'll be okay. Fortunately, she's in a league where we do scrimmage often, and they scrimmage against many home team players and travel team players and from the bootleggers and rum rollers as well.
Yeah, it sounded like a big hit from here. Our table is what, 10 feet away from the track, and it was a palpable hit. But with Mazel Tov Cocktail being up quickly to the skates and back to the dugout, I think we're okay.
Yeah, she almost landed on her announcer's table.
Yeah, that would have made for an interesting afternoon. So we're just taking a quick timeout. Just letting the teams reset.
Yeah, I don't think the ETM volunteers had to come over to take a look. It's probably in their best interest to do so, just to check for concussion type stuff. If they do, unfortunately, I think Mazel Tov Cocktail has to sit for at least 3 jams, or if the volunteers decide that they shouldn't play, then they won't be playing the rest of the tournament, unfortunately.
And it's Seabiscuit out as your lead jammer for Our Ladies of Pain.
Oh no. Yeah, if you're watching that at home, unfortunately, one knee of the Hammer City's jammer went out of bounds after being hit. This unfortunately still means that you cut the track because her knee touched out of bounds, and then she stood up passing people on the track in the process. So that is unfortunately a cut track penalty.
And Watt's been sent to the penalty box for a forearm block. And Seabiscuit has been sent to the penalty box for something else. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting, being as it was formerly a power jam, and now we have a jammer switch in the penalty box.
If you're wondering how that works at home, the jammer goes to the box, and the jammer on the track is sent before the first jammer's penalty is done. The jammers will serve the remaining time of the last jammer and bounce each other. So, fortunately for Royal City, Hammer City's jammer took another penalty. This will bounce Royal City's jammer out of the box, and then in turn, I think Royal City's jammer has 2 penalties issued. She might have gotten a insubordination on the way to the box, possibly for not leaving the track quickly enough. If you're really nerdy about the sport, that means that it killed one of the penalties when the Hammer City jammer sat in the box.
And so now we've got Hammer City Beatrix Slaughter on a power jam. Carpe Decem making things difficult, and so forcing Beatrix Slaughter out. So recycling her back to the pack.
Yeah, Carpe Decem is just a monster in the pack for Royal City. She often takes the pivot. She's a pretty strong skater as well. I know she often jams, but I do think Royal City has her in the pack just to help out on the defensive side as much as possible.
And Our Ladies of Pain now calling for their official review. I believe this is likely for one of the jammer penalties.
Yeah, they're probably asking about the insubordination, I would imagine, because it looked like it was She-Biscuit that was jamming, right? It looked like She-Biscuit was really confused as to what was going on and who was being called on a penalty. The penalty for an insubordination for not leaving the track is usually given because the player who's staying on the track is having an impact to the play that's happening. In my opinion, the skater just looked unsure of what to do. Giving the insubordination is correct because they did stay on the track for a long time, but at a fresh tournament, you may be able to be a little bit more lenient with the insubordination penalties. And Flying Frenchie may just want clarification on that. If you are a budding coach at home, if you call an official review for a penalty that has already been served, the most you're going to do is remove that penalty from the penalty board, which can help if your player is in position to be removed from the game for too many penalties. But other than that, it's a futile effort, as there's nothing really gained from winning a review over a penalty that's already been served.
So Our Ladies of Pain is looking to review that. The call that you explained earlier, Dex, where Our Ladies of Pain jammer picked up 3 penalties, including an additional insubordination. So 2 regular.
Yeah, you were right, Rex. It was an insubordination call, and it is that they're looking to review.
So in that case, it is prudent for Flying Frenchie to call an official review to try and remove at least one of those penalties, because I believe you only have 4 penalties per game in this tournament. So one of their jammers is already on 3. And if I was on the bench, I wouldn't put a jammer on the track who is in position to be to foul out. Because if they do, they stay in the box for an entire 2 minutes.
It's 6 penalties and out, right? If I remember correctly, it's 6 penalties, and then on the 7th.
Is that where they're going with? Okay.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, that's for a full game. I think in a 20-minute game, they usually reduce to 4.
Okay. So it looks like the referees are coming back with the decision. I'm just taking some time to explain the reasoning and the ruling. I suspect from the body language that we're seeing that it may not be going Our Ladies of Pain's way.
No, it's very difficult to remove an insubordination penalty for someone staying on the track too long. Because it's all about a judgment call from a particular referee, and if they feel that the player recognized it and stayed on for too long, then they're going to give the insubordination. One you will win a little bit more is if an insubordination wasn't given for the same reasons. You request that it's be given to a player.
And it looks like we've gone with an official timeout, just to reset, allow everybody to settle down again before we start on jam number 9. Don't let the accent fool you, folks. I'm really ill-educated.
So far, a pretty close score, 48-22. It's still any team's game. If you remember a few jams ago, Our Ladies of Pain scored a 28-8 jam, and if Hammer City is able to produce just one of those, they will close that differential quite significantly.
Remember, folks, you can participate with us by tweeting with the hashtag FNF2018. We've had very little communication, so please let us know if you are actually watching.
I had a friend at home tell me that they already seen me on the feed and heard me, and because they're such good friends, they're saying that I'm doing a terrible job. So I'm just going to call them out on the feed right now and say thanks very much.
Yeah, way to be supportive. How very dare you. This having been only the second tournament that I've been to so far, this is a wonderful atmosphere. Okay, so it just looks like the referees are confirming penalty counts and just confirming penalty counts with the teams and with the referees. And the crowd starting to get a little restless.
Yeah, there's quite a large contingent from Royal City Roller Derby here cheering on Our Ladies of Pain. The league decided to rent a bus, and one of the players coined the bus Fury Bus. Hashtag Fury Bus.
Hashtag Fury Bus.
So a bunch of the fans from Royal City are here. It looks approximately to be about, 30 to 40 people congregated in the just past turn 1. Royal City historically has always brought a lot of fan support to almost everything they go to. So if you have Royal City at one of your games, you know there's going to be more people watching than normal.
Okay, so we have Slaley up against Olivia's Wild. Remember, Olivia's Wild put up a 28-point jam, and she is lead jammer for Royal City. Hammer City struggling to get Slaley through, even with some offensive assists from Archangel. Slaley now through, and a defensive penalty picked up by Bay of Undies. So that's going to bring the pack advantage into Our Ladies of Pain as Olivia's Wild comes back round on a scoring pass. Slaley is now on a scoring pass. Archangel misses an inside block, allowing Olivia's Wild a very easy pickup on the inside of turn 2. Slaley still yet to score and still struggling to get through that defense as Olivia's Wild cuts through again and again up the inside of Archangel.
That's right. Olivia's Wild is a very wily jammer, able to get through packs, strong on her edges as well, so she can pretty stable when getting blocked. And Our Ladies of Pain are doing quite well here. Hammer City is no pushover. They beat earlier today Les Outsiders de Quebec, which is a combination team of roller derby Rimouski, roller derby wow.
Roller derby Rimouski, Matante, roller derby Trois Rivières, and roller derby Sherbrooke. So those are the outlying teams that,
there we go.
From the outer Montreal area.
Thank you for helping me out very much. I was getting a little messed up with some of the French names. I apologize to any roller derby team from Quebec.
Oh, it helps coming from Ottawa. There's a lot of it around. Hello, photographer. Okay, so Our Ladies of Pain putting up a massive 22-point jam on that. Olivia's Wild really going hard. Hammer City managing to limit the damage by picking up 12. However, Our Ladies of Pain stretching that lead now to a massive 36 points. 6 minutes left to play. And as we go into Jam 11, another multiplayer block called, this time against Glitter and Gore, allowing Rotten Cookie Dough to break through as your lead jam for Hammer City. And Mazel Tov Cocktail managing to get through as Rotten Cookie Dough comes around for the scoring pass.
Yeah, Rotten Cookie Dough is a very strong skater for Hammer City. Very quick. Clearly, likely has previous history on skates of some sort, either in hockey or ringette or inline skating. Looks like a natural. Olivia's Wild so far has scored 50 points of Our Lady's Pain, total 70. That's an incredible stat. That's in just 2 jams, a 28 and a 22. It's an incredible amount of points from a jammer in just 2 jams.
And if you take those 50 points away from those 2 jams, this would be a very, very different game. So it's no surprise that Olivia's Wild is jamming again for Our Ladies of Pain, but picks up a 4 on block penalty and is sent to the penalty box before lead jammer can be called.
Carpet Deckham again, just absolutely destroying Hammer City's jammers in the pack.
So Nunyabiz getting all sorts of help from the Hammer City offense.
Nice work. Lots of offense from Hammer City helping out their jammer get through.
And this being a power jam now for Hammer City gives them an opportunity to really pull that score back. Olivia's Wild set to come out in the penalty box.
And Carpet Deckham sent away on a clockwise block.
Olivia's Wild now back on the track and making full advantage of the hole opened up on the inside of turn 4 for Olivia's Wild. So excuse me, for Nunyabiz.
Bit of a strange call-out from Hammer City. They were in position to score another 4 points in that jam before Olivia's Wild hit the pack. I myself might have just run that jam because of the difference in score, and there being only 3 minutes and 41 seconds left.
Yeah, but given that the other jammer on the track's Olivia's Wild, you really don't want to give them much of an opening.
That's true. But sometimes taking a risk like that, it does help you out. Olivia's Wild already picked up a penalty, and sometimes jammers are a little nervous coming out of the box to not take a second penalty. I think going forward, Hamilton has to look for some opportunities to take advantage of some plays that you may not normally do in a closer game. They need to make up a decent amount of points and have 3 minutes and 41 seconds left. They do definitely have the jammers that can get it done. I think they just need to get the right combination of blockers out with the right jammer to put up some good points.
Yeah. Who jammed? There was one of the jammers that was absolutely on fire, and it was Rotten Cookie Dough. If you can give Rotten Cookie Dough just the right defensive line to hold up the Royal City, then you could be looking at a massive point swing.
Yeah, and that's bench management at its finest, finding jammers that you can match up against with blockers that have their number. And if you can figure that out throughout a game, you're going to win most times.
And Hammer City really trying to hem in Olivia's Wild now.
Very close lead jam there for Hammer City. No, they gave it to Our Ladies. No, they gave it to Hammer City. So sometimes difficult seeing which player the referees are pointing at. Oh no.
That was a track cut from Beatrix Slaughter, sending her to the penalty box at the exact same time she was trying to call off the jam. This is now a power jam for Violent Baudelaire and Our Ladies of Pain with 1 minute 14 left on the jam clock. This could really put pay to Hammer City's opportunity to go further.
Yeah, Helices with a little bit of offensive help with their jammer, giving the old hip push, something they learn in the fresh program before they pass their minimum skills tests.
And Violent Baudelaire now sent to the penalty box for a back block, which now swings the power jam to Beatrix Slaughter.
That's right, and 9-4 on the scoreboard in this jam so far. Beatrix already in position to score more points. Let's see if they can tie the score up. Fortunately for Royal City, I do believe that the jam will be, or the penalty to the jammer will be done before the jam is ended. A back block penalty to
Herculesa.
Oh.
And Kirby throwing in a last-minute jam for Beatrix Slaughter to avoid the apex jump there.
Yeah, she was called on a low block. There was foot-to-foot contact before there was any other contact, so unfortunately that's a low block.
So rather than being the high-scoring jam we were expecting, that was very tight. 9 to Our Ladies of Pain with 4 from Hammer City. So that's going to bring up possibly the last jam of the game as we're into timeout now.
I think there should be more points for Hammer City here. I think Simon Says maybe asking a few questions before he puts up the points scored, because I'm pretty sure the Hammer City jammer was in position to score and passed a few people before that ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So don't forget, folks, if you missed a bit or you need a beverage break, there's a slider at the bottom of the player that allows you to, well, it's basically a DVR. If you're still looking for rosters and schedules and trying to find out exactly when your favorite or the team you're waiting for is playing, click the eye on the top right and you'll find all the information and the schedules and the rosters there. And all of this will be available for playback on YouTube. Just search up Layer 9 and you'll find all of their back catalog. So just while we take this break, it gives the opportunity for the teams just to take on some water. It's not as warm today in the arena as I believe it has been over the last week, which I think comes as a relief to everybody, including me.
Yeah, I think I died a few days ago. I was definitely dead. I wasn't moving.
This is an impressive resurrection.
I know. It's quite remarkable. As soon as the temperature drops 5 to 6 degrees, I'm as chipper as a chipmunk.
Not unlike a lizard in that respect.
Very much like a lizard. People will like that analogy much more about me, trust me.
Okay, you have to be impressed with the range and the line of skaters. I mean, we've got guys coming in from Sherbrooke, which is the other side of Montreal. You've got guys coming in from Ottawa, which is not an easy drive. We've got from Guelph, Hamilton, from all over the GTA. And these are all freshies. These are all guys who passed them ins. These are all skaters who passed them ins in the last year.
That's correct. I think Queen's Court is here as well from Buffalo, I believe.
Wow.
Queen's Court is a regular occurrence at Too Fresh. Almost at everyone. I do believe they missed a year or two there a few years ago, but I can't remember exactly what year that was.
So it looks like Mazel Tov Cocktail up against Slaley.
Mazel Tov breaking on the outside.
Very hesitantly going up against Bay of Undies at this point. And we have Carpe Decem being sent to the penalty box. With being such a powerful blocker, this could play into Hamilton's hands.
It could. Unfortunately, it was a pack destruction penalty to Carpe Decem. That might have been a little bit of a late call-off. Let's see. Yeah, they did give 2 points to Hammer City for that pass. If you're unsure of why it was 2 instead of 3, no, it is 3. I thought so. There was 2 players in the penalty box when the jammer passed one of the players on the track. So a jammer will score all points of players in the penalty box while they're on scoring pass. So if they pass the first blocker and there's 2 players in the penalty box, they get 3 points for that one blocker, and then 1 point for the fourth. Olivia's Wild again for lead jammer. Number 125 for Arlisa Payne cleaning up.
And a wise decision to put Olivia's Wild out, I think, on this last jam. Rotten Cookie Dough is your jammer for Hammer City and is also through. Closing very, very quickly now on Royal City. Holds the skates on the outside, but just tips over. So recycles back to the pack.
That's true. Smart move from Royal City's bench staff to keep Olivia's Wild rolling, even though giving up a few points in the back end, as the score in the game is at its end. Olivia's Wild to the penalty box. This is huge for Hammer City.
Hammer City now have 1:19 left in this game to try and close that gap. We are at 22 points.
It isn't impossible. It's definitely close enough for them to score these points, but they have to put some offense in there to get Cookie Dough through.
And
Rotten
she's
Cookie Dough.
through for another pickup of 5. So that closes the gap now. We are down to 17 points as Olivia's Wild retakes the track. 48 seconds left on the clock. As Olivia's Wild takes advantage, I think, of that power that she has to push through the defense.
Yeah, she may have touched one hand out of bounds there as well, but you're allowed to touch one hand out of bounds as a player and not take a cutting penalty. On a last-ditch effort to get some points from Olivia's Wild to keep this differential at least as close to what it was when this jam started.
18 seconds left now. With Hammer City having scored 14 on this jam, they are still 21 behind thanks to the spirited scoring of Olivia's Wild. And the penalties fall. And that's the game. Unofficial score at the moment, as you can see from your screens, is 93 to Our Ladies of Pain, with Hammer City at 67.
Wow, I could watch those two teams play a full bout all the time. That was a really close game. That game could have went either way.
It really could.
If Hammer could have found a little bit more room for Rod and Cookie Dough, I think they could have pulled it out. Let's make sure that we get an official final. That was the final whistle from the referee. I think they just got to check the scoreboard just to make sure, but I don't think they're going to find too many errors to change the score from 93 to 71 for Our Ladies of Pain. A big win for Royal City. Hammer City, I believe, still moves on because it's a win. You have to lose twice in order to be eliminated from this tournament, I believe. I'm going to have to look up exactly where everyone moves to. But again, if you're following along at home, just click the little I in the top right corner. That will update you with the schedule.
And it looks like everything's good. Thumbs up given from Simon Says there, I feel. And that, I believe, is it. Final score then, Our Ladies of Pain 93, Hammer City Peer Pressure 71. So it'll be Our Ladies of Pain moving forward to play the winners of the next game, I believe. Hammer City Peer Pressure do have another opportunity to stay in this tournament. If they win, then next game. I'm not exactly sure who they're playing. But again, as Rex mentioned, just click the I, you'll see the updated schedule and all of the rosters.
Yeah, these two leagues should just have their fresh meat play all the time to prepare themselves for this tournament. There's a lot of leagues around that are really close by, fortunately for anyone who lives in the Southern Ontario area. And I think the rookie teams need to get together a little bit more and play some regular season games from full bouts, because things change when there's 60 minutes on the board instead of 20. Anyways, I am Professor Rex signing off. The first game of my announcing day. I'm sure I'll be doing many more as the day goes on.
Yes, this is Token Redshirt. Thank you very much for being with us for this game. Not exactly sure who's announcing the live stream for the next game. It might actually be us again. So with that, have fun. Enjoy the rest of the tournament.